Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, taking a fun and exciting video for you guys today because Vita3K, a PlayStation Vita emulator, just got a media update, and the team behind the development actually teased out that you should check out Uncharted Golden Abyss to see some of the improvements. And honestly, this is a game that I absolutely loved on my original PlayStation Vita. Still have it in my collection. Getting a better version of the game would 100% be a fun time. But as far as why, at least in my build, it looks like Nathan Drake lost a fight to a bottle of peroxide on his head. I have no idea. I test these things out of the box, so I'm sure there must be some toggle in there somewhere where I could have actually got the shading on his hair to be correct. But this footage was so fun, I figured I had to run it because it looks like he is now a bottle blonde. Forget if you're involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. And just so you know, if you do see my mouse cursor coming into the bottom right hand corner of the screen, that's because I use an Xbox Series X controller. I didn't really set up the DualSense just for this one capture, so I'd be able to have that kind of touchscreen control, but it works 100% perfectly fine. And because the game doesn't really require you to use touch controls all that often, it really isn't that big of a deal. You'll see I did it again there. But I will say, last time I tested this just for fun, this game was absolutely a completely buggy mess, and it would not run anywhere near the native frame rate. And even if obviously there is still a few visual glitches, and Nathan Drake here absolutely has some Ric Flair style bleach blonde hair going on, it is 100% fundamentally improved, and you're going to see that across a lot of the different PlayStation Vita games and their performance. But you might notice here, if you take a look at that waterfall, when we come off of this touchscreen explanation control right here, and you can kind of play around with some of the DualSense controllers as well, there is a little bit of graphic artifacting behind that. Now again, there could be some sort of setting in the graphics that would eliminate some of this, but I really do like testing just how the emulator functions when you get it updated, when you get it set up, and you try out some games, because I know that's basically what 9 out of 10 of you are going to do. You're not going to deep dive into any of the wikis and try to find those esoteric settings. But as far as the updates to this one, it's absolutely numerous and massive, and I really like how the actual Vita3K team kind of disseminates those update information out. You don't need to go to their website. Once you actually just try to update the application, you're going to see that there is a new feature list in the actual emulator in and of itself that basically looks exactly like it would when you're updating your PlayStation Vita. It is a really fun time. You can kind of go through and see everything that's changed, and trust me, there are a metric crap ton of changes in this new version of Vita3K, because I am just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and you will see we're just basically reaching the halfway mark of the updates right now. So if there was a game that wasn't working perfectly for you, now would be the time to try it, because they don't really publish a list of all of the games they're going to see improvements. People kind of get to discover that for themselves. And last time I took a look at Vita3K when it updated recently as well, I said there are some games on it that feel absolutely perfect and will run and perform better than real Vita hardware. Something like Gravity Rush, one of my favorite Vita games of all time, honestly is exceptional in Vita3K. You get a higher internal running resolution, you can get better performance as well, and it just looks absolutely stunning. And that really is the thing. The Vita was not a massive success at the retail markets. Kind of feels like Sony released the hardware and then basically decided not to support it like they do with the PlayStation VR 2. So we got some fun games, but honestly, the Vita is an expensive console to grab down. Some of the games are getting exceedingly expensive as well. So being able to keep these games alive for all time in Vita3K and Vita Emulation is just 10 out of 10 amazing. And if you do need a Vita3K guide or Vita3K tutorial, leave me a comment down below, because last time I asked, not many people actually responded in the affirmative. So maybe it's one of those things. A lot of people just find this one easy to set up, although it can be one of the harder emulators to get running. Not in a bad way, just requires a lot of additional files to be incorporated in. As we take a look here, you can see outside of the fact that Nathan Drake has that weirdly shimmering hair, everything else in this screen looks good. If I just took a screenshot here and manually recolored his hair, you'd have no idea that this is probably running on emulation and not real Vita hardware. And that really is definitely something that you're going to want to have, because when you're playing these games, you want them to be as close to possible to the real hardware, if not slightly better. So Uncharted Golden Abyss running this well in the new version of Vita3K definitely shows that there have been a lot of improvements made. A lot of that here is hilarious. Let's go to the first of two soundtrack samples, 45 seconds, and I'll be right back with more Vita3K improvements for everyone. mean, honestly, sounds very accurate to what Uncharted would sound like on a PlayStation Vita, but you leave me a comment down below and you tell me what you think, because I always love to say audio is not really my specialty department, so it's one of those things I'm never quite 100% sure if what I'm hearing is accurate or not, because I am way more of a visual person. That is my profession versus being some sort of audio engineer. But again, outside of the hilarious hair, and I love it, and I know again, there probably is some sort of fix. Yeah, this is basically running way better than the last time I took a look at it. Now, it's not going to be perfect, and I don't think the game is going to be 100% playable from start to finish, but save games are going to work now as well, so you can kind of try to poke and plod your way through it just to get an idea of what it is doing. But I don't want you guys to go in and think if you just hit the start button and start playing that you're going to get a perfect experience until the credits scroll, because I will show you later on in the video I did end up crashing it in a cutscene, and then the graphical glitches after the cutscene were even more hilarious than Nathan Drake's Ric Flair woo hair we got going on here. But this is all important stuff, because again, if you want to play some of these games, maybe you're thinking to yourself, I'd love to know if it's worth picking up or not, so maybe you want to try to emulate it before you add it to your collection. And the Vita had a lot of fun games. In the previous update video, I showed you guys Hotline Miami 2 just to show how different Vita games could be. You have something like Uncharted being a full 3D third-person action adventure, then you have something like Hotline Miami 2, which is a top-down kind of running gun game, almost feels like Smash TV, except way more modern. And that really was the fun thing about the Vita. It was covering basically every single genre, and a lot of the games on Vita ended up being exclusives that you really can't play anywhere else. So if you don't want to drop that massive investment into a console, something like Vita3K is definitely going to keep a lot of the fun alive, at least for you and me personally, because I have a decent Vita collection, but there's some games out there that are honestly hundreds upon hundreds of dollars now that I don't really feel like dropping that coin on versus paying down my mortgage a little bit faster with my wife. And honestly, if you've never played Uncharted Golden Abyss before, you definitely should check it out, because it delivers on the promise of what Sony was advertising the PlayStation Vita to be, a near to as powerful PlayStation 3, graphically as well as gameplay wise, that you could put quote unquote in your pocket. And even though no one was putting a Vita in their pocket, pockets really aren't that big, I still picked one up day one when it came out, and I was blown away by just how good it looked. And even if the silicon inside of a PlayStation Vita has absolutely nothing to do with the PlayStation 3 in any way, shape, or form, and obviously this isn't the same quality as PlayStation 3 graphics, it got close enough in a handheld on launch day that you thought to yourself, I don't think I'm ever going to see a handheld do better than this, at least in the near term future. And honestly, it took a while, but we definitely got more powerful handhelds. But Uncharted Golden Abyss, basically, I feel like not everyone played it because not everyone had a Vita. And you'll see here, definitely when we actually get that rocket coming in, there is a lot of graphical corruption. And this is where the freeze is going to happen here in the cutscene. The cameras are going to pan down and it's going to lock up. Let's do the second of two soundtrack samples, 45 seconds, and I'll be right back with a little bit more Vita emulation news. So why was there a gigantic black bar over Nathan Drake? Either he lost his clothes in the jungle and Sony didn't want us to know what he had going on under his kit, or obviously there was a graphical glitch. And that's what I want you to take away from this video. The new version of Vita3K is definitely improved. You're going to get a lot better performance on a lot more games. Something like Uncharted Golden Abyss is going to be working a lot better and be more stable, but it is not done. So I wouldn't jump into the Uncharted game and basically think to yourself you're going to be perfectly fine, because you're definitely going to get some glitches, you're definitely going to get some crashes, but the reality is Vita3K is still a very inactive development, and honestly I absolutely love it. I'm sure in the next 12, 18, 24 months you're going to have games like Uncharted Golden Abyss running 100% perfectly with enhancements. But in the meantime, you can test out Uncharted Golden Abyss, and if you get lucky and get the glitch I did, you can run it around as Tofu from Resident Evil as well, just a little bit wider than he used to be in that game. But all jokes aside, it's a fun glitch and I'd love to show him off. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, but I'll see you next time. Bye bye.